Order submit. Order canceled.
All right, market is open. We are kind of struggling to go anywhere though. Little push up, but kind of back down to ECMAs. Kind of hugging VWAP a little bit too. We did open up right into VWAP, so it could just kind of be chopping VWAP all day today. Something to keep an eye on for sure. Had a little slap down through VWAP there, but already back at VWAP. Kind of just chilling, not really going anywhere. Holding the view up pretty well though. Kind of forming out a flag a bull flag. But with view up right there, kind of hard to take this just 'cause we're kind of chopping around. Yes, looking like it wants to break out. NASDAQ kind of struggling here. Still just kind of getting tighter and tighter and making our way lower. Still hanging out around VWAP and these EMAs. Another market open that's pretty difficult to trade. We're kind of pushing these wicks, kind of faking out the buyers repeatedly, and then we just kind of go lower. Definitely not the most ideal circumstances. Does look like we are going to push up though. We are looking pretty bullish here, all things considered, despite this pretty ugly price action. Obviously, just kind of chopping around, wicking up, wicking down. But it does look like a pretty decent flag besides the chop. If it wasn't so choppy, and we weren't right at VWAP, might consider taking it. Looks like we're also taking out the highs on ES. ES is pushing higher, breaking through the EMA. Pulling back down a little bit though. A little SMT divergence there. ES taking the highs. NASDAQ failed to take the highs, so I'm kind of just sitting right here. Still kind of sitting under this line that I drew. Holding a VWAP, not going anywhere. Being really tough to want to go long, but definitely not ready to go short yet either. So kind of just sitting on my hands, waiting for something good. Wait for that good setup. A plus only. That's what I like to look for. So we are pushing lower a little bit, kind of taking out the low of the day so far. ES is on its way down. About to break previous low, but still up there towards the highs a little bit. NASDAQ already rejecting. Back to VWAP. I mean, we basically just been hugging VWAP 90% of the day so far. Got to break away from VWAP and actually get going. We'll see if we can do it. Alright, we are finally pushing the lows with a little more strength. See if we can hold it. We still have a little bit of ways to go before we take out any important levels, key levels. Here's the London low at 23,811. Then we have the overnight low, the Asia low, sitting at 23,790. Currently we're still at 820s. So not too far away from the London low, but we do have a minute before the overnight low. I do like to look for the sweeps of those levels sometimes. Take out that important level of liquidity to then push us higher. Or the opposite on the upside. Right, we take out the London high or the Asia high and then reverse back down. But yeah, still kind of just slowly squeezing our way lower and lower. Some nice selling candles, but they get quickly bought up and rejected, and then pushed back up here to these EMAs, and then also VWAP up there as well. We are trying to break away from VWAP a little bit, but we're kind of struggling still. Still could be a bull flag. Technically, I mean, we're following this little trend line pretty well here. But I mean, we've broken through the line several times, depending on how you draw it, and we haven't broken up at all. This could be something though. Finally, a strong close above the previous wick. Could be a decent entry to go long. Buyers could finally be stepping up. But we're still kind of just holding VWAP a little bit. The VWAP magnet is once again playing out. Doing its thing. Surely it's gotta go, but I guess we'll see. Just gotta be patient. It might not. So the 5-minute has a little flag as well. Kinda something like that with those wicks. We are kind of breaking up out of that just a little bit on the 5-minute, but we're taking our time to go anywhere still. A little bit of push met with a little bit of resistance, coming back down to VWAP already. Definitely not making this easy. Kind of just chopping around at the end of the day. Yeah, I might have to wait a little bit. Market's been doing this last little while. Kind of open up and we might get a small move up or down. But whether we do or whether we don't, pretty shortly after we do a little chop to chop like this, and then maybe around 1 hour into the market open, we might end up finally breaking the chop and going somewhere. But yeah, a lot of chop. A lot of chop on the NASDAQ recently. Definitely not easy to trade. But just gotta be patient. Wait for a good setup. Don't force anything. And you'll have nothing to worry about. Still struggling, still have VWAP. 17 minutes into market open, still sitting at VWAP. 13 minutes until a little bit of news. Maybe that'll move us away from VWAP. Can I get out of this chop? We'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if we just chop around here for the next 13 minutes. But again, we have that 5 minutes bull flag. And it's kind of holding. It looks like it wants to break out, which it's kind of working on doing right now. We'll see if it actually can hold up or not. Can we do it? The 15-minute opening range is set. For those of you who keep that into consideration. First 15-minute high and low of the day. Kind of sitting in this range, and until we break out of that kind of initial range, we might just be kind of chopping around. That's kind of the theory behind it, right? Kind of set that first 15-minute range, the high and the low, and until you kind of break out of a higher or lower, kind of hard to take any trades or have any bias, right? Bullish or bearish doesn't really matter because obviously it's kind of sitting in the middle of the range. Either way lower. Could be taking out the 1 minute low here. Alright, about to take out that low, the 15-minute opening range. See if we do it. Sitting right above it here. Kind of finding a little bit of support. Alright, there's the break. Breaking through, looking good. Sellers finally stepping up. Getting us away from VWAP. Let's see if we can get any good setups out here. But we're already holding, making our way back into the range just a little bit. Kind of rejecting off that London low, but we are now making our way through it. 8 minutes till news. Not super important news, I don't think. But it could still have an effect on the market. So I might want to keep an eye on it, just in case. Always better safe than sorry. Definitely better safe than sorry. Kind of staying at the lows here. Rejecting a little bit. Definitely looking a little bearish. Taking out the low over here on the 1 minute. Getting out of the 15-minute opening range as well. Looks like we almost made up to that gap there. But not quite. See if we build out a bear flag here. Like I typically say, I do like to see it pull back a little bit more, just into that 9 EMA. Just so I know that we're not overextended here. So, not the best bear flag, but it's kind of looking like one, despite missing a couple things. So, probably not going to take it, but still might play out. Absolutely could still. But yeah, we're kind of waiting for a little bit better pullback, personally. A little bit better of a setup. It looks like we are getting that breakthrough. That's the move you like to see. That's the bear flag. Yeah, it's a little far from the EMA for me personally. Kind of also sitting at the London low, so definitely don't know if it's gonna kind of hold the low and bounce out of it. Yeah, flag played out pretty well. Nice break there. 5 minutes till news. Yes, getting down there to the lows as well. Not looking good for the buyers. See if we can keep selling here. See if we take out that overnight low maybe. Then maybe get a reversal. Definitely would not be surprised if that's kind of the next move. We're only about 12 points away. See, just about the 800s. Overnight lows at the 789s. So we're slowly making our way down. Price action was not the best this morning. Typical kind of chop off on the open. You can see all these wicks, very ugly. But we could be pushing out of it now. Could be some better price action. But I don't want to speak too soon because I haven't taken any trades yet. What's up the news at 9 going to be? I don't think it's going to be super important news. But on financialjuice.com, that's one of the websites I use for news. I also use Forex Factory, but on it there's a little red dot news at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock for you saying U.S. quarterly employment and wages Q1. So there's no red folder on forexfactory.com. So that's why I'm not sure if it actually is going to be that impactful. But there is a little news regardless. So we'll see what happens. Might be better safe than sorry, but not really any news now. Looks like we ate up most of the selling we just have been doing, kind of making our way back to the middle of this range. Yeah, I took out that London low, and now we're making our way back up, right back to VWAP. Kind of thought we got away from VWAP, but we're already right back. The VWAP chop. Might be one of those days. Kind of hoping that there's news in 2 minutes. Kind of need some to get away from VWAP. Get a little bit more volatility here. ATR's only at 13, which is, for NASDAQ, below average. Typically it likes to sit around like 15 to 20 on kind of a normal day. Anything above 20 is kind of on the higher end of volatility. But yeah, 13. And it's not even 8 o'clock yet. So, yeah, kind of crazy. Kind of a little boring. Bounced off you up there. See if we get back out of this opening range or if we keep chopping around. Alright, got 30 seconds. We'll see if this does anything or not. Currently no trade steps for me anyways, so we'll be flat regardless of what news does. Alright, pushing back down to the lows. Alright, candle's looking already a little bouncy. So yeah, it must be a little bit of news going on. Kind of pumping up, back to view up a little bit. Nothing super crazy, but it's definitely moving a little bit more than before. Well, I say that, and now we're bouncing back to the opening of the candle. Not really going anywhere. ES, though, did push all the highs with that move. So, not really sure what the Nasdaq's doing, but we're just struggling. Looks like we might actually take out the lows here. Oh, there it is. There's the news push. That's what you want to be afraid of right there. Right down to the overnight lows. Market's still moving. Down there below the 800s. Kind of holding down there a little bit. But we are holding the overnight lows, bouncing off those as well. So there could have been a sweep, as some people call it. Alright, sweep that liquidity down there at the overnight lows. So wouldn't be a bad spot to reverse and go higher, right? Go for the overnight highs potentially. But also it could break through and just keep going lower. But yeah, definitely a little bit of news there. So good thing we kind of had our eye on that. Up like 18 points and then down 29 points on that candle. Could pop back up here, but also could take out the lows. Oh yeah, there's a little sweep of the lows there on the 1 minute. Overall though, we can analyze this all we want, but it's kind of just chopping around. I mean, this news candle did finally kind of get us out of this choppy area a little bit. But until we kind of make our way lower, I still wouldn't say we're completely out of it. Still got to keep an eye on it for sure. Another little sweep of the lows followed by a little bounce. Obviously lost its unfunded. Gosh dang it. You hate to hear it, but it is part of the game. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty rough day. I didn't blow any accounts, luckily, but just couldn't catch any wins. The market just kept kind of chopping around, kind of taking out highs and lows, taking out stop losses. It's been kind of rough. You have a couple days a week that are pretty decent, right? Get some good trades. I'm hoping today turns into one of those days, but so far we're just chopping around. But the rest of the days that aren't good have all kind of just been choppy and very easy to lose multiple trades in a row. And if you can't, obviously keep your losses to a minimum. It's very easy to blow up accounts. I've gotten lucky, haven't blown up any yet, but I'm definitely in some drawdown. So if you have any more bad days like that in a row, I'm definitely going to be not looking the best. Yeah, one of my accounts only has $1,000 left of drawdown. So I probably wouldn't blow that in a single day. But if I took enough trades, I definitely could. Definitely could. Still not really going anywhere. Kind of barcoding up and down a little bit here at the lows, the overnight lows as well. Not going down, but not going up either. Alright, a little push now. Still just a rough area. We're struggling to break lower. But if we do break higher, right, if we do bounce and the buyers start to come in, right, we take out this high in the 1 minute, all of a sudden we're back in the middle of the 15-minute range and we're back at VWAP. Two things that we don't want to see. Unless we can push all these highs and make it above the 15-minute opening range. Still kind of struggling to find any trades that are worth taking. That's actually just going nowhere. Yes, also kind of struggling to go anywhere. Okay, it could be slapping down now. We need to break through this overnight low. We've been failing to do so far. Kind of have a... somewhere in here is kind of like a bear flag. But kind of ugly, right, with the barcoding in the chop. Almost played out there, but quickly rejected. Kind of back to the highs of this 1 minute candle. Yeah, it could be what the buyers need right there to push higher. See if the buyers can get enough strength though to actually go anywhere. Slowly making our way down. We're definitely like in a downtrend right now on the 1 minute. And the 5 minute as well. But yeah, we're not having an easy time going lower. Definitely struggling a bit. Every little short is kind of short-lived before we get that nice little bounce up. One way I can kind of tell if the market is good for trading or not is just how the 5 minute looks. Whether you like trading fair value gaps or not, if you look at the 5 minute, like we don't have any. Like there is no fair value gaps, right? Up or down. And again, whether you trade them or not, they still are a representation of what the market is doing. And obviously, if there's no gaps when you're buying and selling, there's just not a lot of buying and selling going on to leave the gaps in place. So typically when the 5 minute has no gaps and it's just kind of chopping around, not the best for trading. Definitely not the best. Yeah, hopefully we can get out of this and actually get some trades going. Gotta get out of the chop. But we're back up to VWAP. Once again, this is like the 10th time we've gone up and tested VWAP. Maybe not 10th, but we kind of chopped around it all morning. Pulled away a little bit, went right back. Chopped around a little bit, pulled away, back to VWAP. Down again, back to VWAP, down again, back to VWAP. So definitely a VWAP kind of day. Alright, back to the middle of the range. But we are taking out the high. This could be what we need to go higher, potentially. Hopefully we don't just sit around and chop. Looks like we are kind of breaking through these highs, right? Maybe like a higher time frame flag. Well, I'm not really seeing it, but looks like we are kind of taking out the highs. Kind of squeezing up there. Definitely what the buyers need. I'm almost convinced to start looking for longs here. The ATR is up to a 17.58 as well. So got a little bit more of that volatility. Looks like we were kind of just waiting for that news to play out. And Yeah, buyers could be making that reversal now. Could be on our way up to those overnight highs. Making our way higher, looking good, up to the 850s. Still kind of in this range though. Kind of holding the highs of it as well. Yeah, I still kind of want to look for a break. We don't want to be trading in this kind of chop area. Definitely is not very pretty. Am I on shorts? No, I'm not. I'm a little indecisive right now, just because we're sitting in this 15-minute opening range still, kind of this area of chop. We did take out the lows there, so I was a little bearish, thinking about going short down there. But we never got a good setup, and we kind of just bounced off the overnight lows, and now we're taking out these highs on the 1 minute. So now it's looking kind of bullish. So, not on the shorts, no. Not in any trades right now either. Kind of waiting for a good setup here. We're pulling back here a little bit. Could build out a bull flag here, but at the same time, kind of in that range, right? We might just kind of keep chopping a little bit. We're close to VWAP still. VWAP is at 828, just below this 9 EMA. And not a big fan of taking trades around VWAP, because VWAP's either a magnet or a wall, right? Kind of likes to suck price into VWAP, but at the same time, if you trade into VWAP, it'll just bounce off and stop you out. So, doesn't always happen, but definitely something to keep in mind. Something I've seen happen more than once. But I definitely keep my eye out for any short opportunities. I'm definitely not afraid to go long or short. I typically don't have like a super strict bias. Looks like we could kind of make a decent little trade up here if we get above the 45s, but quickly rejected there. Back down to VWAP and those EMAs. Kind of built out a little flag here. Dang, really going low. Faked out a lot of buyers potentially right there. Right, we kind of took out the high of this candle there, which could have been my entry to kind of push long off of this 9 EMA, but sellers really came in there. So ideally you want to wait for a lower high to get swept and then wait for reversal continuation. Yeah, pretty much exactly. Like right now we're kind of showing obviously some bullish momentum, bullish price action. Right, took out this low on the or high on the 1 minute, and we were kind of holding this fair value gap in these EMAs a little bit. We still kind of are, right? We're still bouncing off the 21 a little bit. So definitely see how it plays out still. But I like to trade with the trend, especially with like the bear and the bull flags, right? get a little breakout, continue the trend. But I also, yeah, if we sweep a higher low, a high or a low, then I'm also looking for a potential reversal. Kind of a 5-minute inverse for value gap potentially, or even something kind of like this where we sweep on the 1 minute, right? Sweep the lows, take out the highs, get a change in structure, right? From bearish to bullish, and then retrace into some of these gaps and EMAs and other potential confluences, and then continue higher, which it definitely could hold in here and go higher. It's definitely not looking the cleanest for me to go long, besides that almost bull flag that we had. But yeah, I like for those key levels of liquidity to be swept for those reversals, or yeah, a nice continuation. 15-minute opening range as well. I don't always look at it, but when we kind of chop around in the morning, I do kind of keep an eye on it, just because we did have a lot of consolidation in the morning. You see all these wicks on the 1 minute, kind of ugly. And then we kind of broke out of it, right? Kind of tested it, broke out, but now we're kind of back in it. So yeah, it's kind of a tough area with all this consolidation, all this chop. It's definitely like, it could very well keep chopping in this area again, right? A lot of volume in here, and VWAP up in here as well. Makes it a little tough to take a trade. It could just go up or down, right? Not a lot of direction when you have like an area of consolidation like this. Yeah, kind of making our way back down below the 15-minute opening range. But at the end of the day, right? I talked about this earlier. We can analyze it all we want. So I will continue to analyze it, right? Show you my perspective, what I'm thinking, looking at the charts. But at the end of the day, we're kind of just chopping around. So if I squeeze the chart down a little smaller, it's like we're kind of just chopping. We got a little higher, but now we're back here, and we haven't really gone anywhere since market open, right? I mean, I believe we opened up the market at 23,835-ish area, and we're at 822. We're like 10 points below that. We're basically just kind of going nowhere. So definitely times like these, I do like to wait for a little bit more of a trend, an established trend, for sure. Just to kind of have a little more confidence that we're not chopping. Gritted and Motivate, thank you for the follow. But yeah, definitely better to be smart, right? Smart and patient. Wait for some of those key levels. Because there's a lot of times that we will take out a low like this on the 1 minute, right? And then break a high, and we got a low reversal. And obviously those work, and I've taken plenty of those. But what's better than that is when we don't just take out a 1 minute low, but we take out an overnight low, right? The London low, the Asia low, some of those key levels. Definitely a little bit more important than some 1 minute low or whatever you want to call it. So I definitely like to keep an eye out for those as well. I don't know. What do you guys think, though? You guys think it's going to keep chopping around? Think it's going to break higher, break lower? What do you guys think? Bullish. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little bullish right now too, just with that push up. We're holding these gaps pretty well. Let's see if we can hold it here though. Yeah, I definitely could be changing my mind here in a second. Can't go any higher. But yeah, again, we're just chopping around. Yeah, definitely just chopping for now. I got no clue. Honestly, me neither. Part of me does want to say a little bit bullish just because of that. Right, that 1 minute took out the highs here. If we zoom out on the 5 minute, we kind of are bullish, kind of on the grand scheme of things. But we are a little bearish just since like this kind of overnight high here. We've kind of been going down. But yeah, I'd say higher time frame where we are a little bullish. So hard to say what's going to happen on the 1 minute. But yeah, personally for me, it seems like you guys are also kind of on the same page. If we're chopping around like this, I mean, it could go anywhere. Because the more it consolidates and the more we kind of squeeze and get tighter and tighter, eventually we're going to break out. Right, we're going to break out higher or lower pretty aggressively. That's kind of what we're waiting for, I think. But typically that break could go either way. But I'm also looking at delta. I'll put it on the screen here. I like to look at cumulative delta, volume delta. So that kind of helps me as well get a gauge on just like the buying volume versus like the selling volume. And right now it's pretty correlated with the price, but sometimes you'll see that price might be making a high or low, but volume is not. Right, so kind of indication that there's not a lot of sellers, but price is still going lower. Or maybe the opposite, right? Like we got a lot of sellers, but the price isn't getting pushed lower. So I like to keep an eye on that as well, just to see kind of how the buyers and sellers are doing. And currently there's not much to really read from it. I mean, correlated with price pretty well. So you could say we're kind of bullish just based off the fact that we took out a high. I don't know, how long do you usually trade in a day? Or trade for in a day? Typically like 3 hours. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little bit more, just depending on if I'm still looking for some trades, or maybe right, we're choppy, I decide to call it a day, or I win, right? If I make enough money, it's always a good skill to know when to call it a day, right? You don't want to give back any of your profits to the market. And same thing with losing, right? If you lose too much, you got to know when to call it so you don't blow your accounts and lose too much money. Because there's definitely days, whether it's like today or just chopping around, or yesterday as well, is kind of a day where a lot of stop losses kind of got taken, right? We kind of like took out lows and then took out highs, took out lows and then took out highs. Today's not quite that bad, but it's almost there, just with the fact that we took out these lows here on the 1 minute, and then we took out these highs. Especially if we come back down and take out the lows. I mean, a lot of people are getting stopped out, right? A lot of people are thinking up here, oh, now we're going higher. No, we're not, right? A lot of people down here who thought, finally we broke out of this range, finally we're going lower. And then they got stopped out up here. So on days like that, it's very easy to lose several trades. And if you can survive those days by not taking any trades, that's obviously the best situation. But still a decent situation is when you take 1 or 2 losses and you're like, okay, today's not my day, I'm gonna call it a day. But yeah, to answer your question, I'll usually stop around 10:30 my local time. So about 12 12:30 Eastern-ish. That's like about that lunchtime hour. Market starts to slow down a little bit. And typically, I find a little harder to find good setups during that time. So that's typically what I look for and what I do. So when is it this volatile for? I'd say probably around that time. That's kind of why I've picked that time, and I'm sure some other YouTubers or people have kind of mentioned a similar thing, right? Kind of for me, 7:30 is when the market opens. Over here, there's like the blue line or this blue shaded area. 7:30 market opens, gets a little more volatile, and then yeah, after that 2.5 hour, 3 hours of market open, around that 10:30 for me, or 12:30 Eastern time. Again, people are going to lunch. People are taking their lunch breaks. Market tends to slow down a little bit. And it definitely can pick back up later in the day. Like I've gotten some decent trades around like 11 o'clock for me. Or even like after lunch I've come back. Because the market's open till like 2 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. Eastern. So you definitely can come back after lunch. You can make some more money. I've seen the market pick back up a little bit later in the day. But personally, I've just never seen it quite as volatile and quite as clean in the mornings. I say that when obviously we're right now just chopping around. So honestly, today could be better later in the day. Sometimes that is kind of how it is, right? If we have good price action and movement in the morning, sometimes we just chop around in the afternoons. Like if you go back to last Friday, I guess I could try and pull it up. I just have my trading view. I don't know if you guys can see this super well. Kind of just like pulling it on the screen there. Might be a little ugly, but this was last Friday. You can see we had a little chop in the morning, but then we pushed down. Kind of nice. We had a good trend down. And then this is like 9:30 right here. So let me move it up a little bit so you can see that. This is like 9:30, and it kind of starts to slow down a little bit. But yeah, around 10:30, we're kind of just chopping up and down. We didn't really go anywhere the rest of the day. And this is obviously just one example. Not every day is like this. Like, again, you can almost say the opposite here. So in the morning, we kind of chopped around, right? Kind of looking like today a little bit. And even like 8, 9 o'clock, we're kind of chopping. I mean, we kind of chopped a lot of the day, but around 10:30, we actually started to kind of go up. Still kind of slow though, still kind of choppy, and like obviously you can see just the size of the candles compared to these ones up here. These ones are still bigger. So the market did choose a direction, but still was missing the volatility. And obviously you can see overnight it goes down even more. I mean, it's basically not even moving like at 3 in the morning, unless you got like this news event at 6:30, and then it starts moving a little bit. But yeah, Friday's a good example of why I stopped trading around 10 o'clock, 10:30. Almost a perfect example. Yeah, yesterday didn't really move around much. It was kind of a bad trading day in general. Not a good example. And so far today is looking even worse than, not technically worse than yesterday, but like it's just looking very small in comparison. Not really going anywhere. That's a good question. We definitely are kind of just, kind of chopping around the London low right now. So we kind of are kind of consolidating around it in this low area, the London low and the Asia low. But we definitely, again, typically what I look for is those sweeps, and typically we do find one of those sweeps at some point in the day, right? We take out the low and then we kind of head towards the highs. But on the 5-minute, you can see we haven't made any fair value gaps. Like the 5-minute's not really, there's no price action on the 5-minute. Like if you're trading the 5-minute, not the 1-minute, there's not much you can really do. In fact, there's nothing to do because you're just like, you're not going anywhere. Now, yeah, if we took out this overnight low or the London low and we kind of inversed the fair value gap or had a little bit better price action on the 1-minute, then I definitely think, I mean, yeah, we take out the London low and then we'd probably be heading towards the London high, potentially even yesterday's New York high. Yes, there was a couple 1-minute fair value gaps. Kind of on this, you can see I do have them on this 1-minute chart. So I did sweep those overnight lows, and we did have a couple, like 3 bullish fair value gaps here that we, again, we showed a little bit of resistance, held a little bit. But the fact that VWAP was right there is why I didn't look at any of those as good trades. Griffin, can you move money through this ticker, or do you need it to attach a broker? So typically, if you're trading your own capital, I think you would have to attach a broker to one of these platforms. But NinjaTrade that I'm using kind of has its own broker built in, so you can just kind of put money in and trade through NinjaTrader. But I think there is some other brokers out there that might be better that some people like to trade with. Currently, I'm trading with propfirms though, so I don't have any brokers. Currently, I just trade with the propfirms, and they provide me the evaluation accounts or the funded accounts that I can trade and make some money on. Yeah, looks like we did just close down there at the lows. So hopefully this kind of means something, right? Hopefully we kind of keep going lower. Kind of continue the trend here. Would be a little unfortunate if we bounce back up, because then we might just keep chopping around. Also, another reason why I'm kind of a little hesitant on some trades and why I haven't taken any yet, because on another day, I may have taken a buy somewhere in here. Let me just remove some of these lines. But yeah, with this kind of price action where we take out the low and then we go higher, right? And then we reverse down into one of these fair value gaps, I might buy, go long, right? Assuming it's going to bounce higher. And the only reason why I didn't do that is because VWAP is right here. And I don't like trading around VWAP, which I mentioned earlier if you were here. And also, the market opened up right at VWAP. Like VWAP is like right somewhere in here at the market open. And typically what I've noticed with the NASDAQ is if we open up into VWAP, we kind of chop VWAP most of the day. Doesn't mean we'll chop it all day, but there's a lot of VWAP chop. But here's the sellers looking good, both Delta and ES going for the lows. We just took out the New York low from yesterday. So this could definitely be another area where we sweep that level of liquidity, maybe get a reversal. But again, I'm kind of hoping we just kind of go lower so we can get away from that chop, away from VWAP, and get some better setups here. Would this be short? Potentially. For some people, they're probably already going short just because we're going lower and they don't want to miss out on it. But I like to look for a little bit better of a setup, right? I want a little bit more confidence, because even back here you could say, like right here, oh, like, is this a good time to go short? And like it could be. But I like to wait for a little bit more, because often it'll go lower like this and kind of fake out the sellers and then go higher. So similar thing here, this one's definitely looking better, and I would be surprised if we don't go a little bit lower. But I like to wait for better entry, and I like to wait for a little bit more confluences to kind of give me that directional bias. little bit of a pullback, right? Because if I sell down here, it could go lower. It might. But I'd rather get a better entry and sell somewhere up here, right? Have a pull back into this fair value gap a little bit, or the 9 EMA, 21 EMA, right? Bounce off those EMAs, and then continue shorter, continue the trend. So I'm personally not a fan of just going short, even though that's where we're going. And we might not get a pullback. I mean, sometimes the market just goes without you, and it's kind of hard to watch because you get a lot of FOMO. But the last thing I want is to click sell here and have it just start going back up, because that can be a bit frustrating, kind of sad. Yeah, it makes you feel real smart when you get in a trade and it just goes the complete opposite direction. Like you time the bottom or the top. It's like, how did I do that? If I would have just made the complete opposite trade, I would have made so much money. Because yeah, a lot of people, they might be trying to get in the short here because they don't want to miss out. But a lot of other people are probably looking like, okay, when are we going to bounce? Right? And sometimes you can look at like the previous day highs and lows. You actually see one here on the 5 minute. If I zoom back far enough, you can see these lows way over here from yesterday's overnight session. And obviously we're kind of holding it right here, kind of bouncing a little bit. So some people are trying to go short, some people are trying to time the bottom and go higher, right? They're trying to buy this, get that bounce. And whoever bought down here is making some money. So again, I kind of made that example of like, I don't want to go short here and have a bounce, and here we are, we're bouncing. But we are getting that pullback, and this is where I could be interested in something, right? We're pulling back a little bit, but we're still obviously very bearish just with how price is moving down. So if we can build out a bear flag, or maybe get up into here into this fair value gap, we could be thinking of how we're going to react out of that, and will we continue shorter? I mean, even this is looking like a pretty decent little pullback and bear flag. Right, kind of have some of these green candles. We have this low here, and then a higher low on these wicks. And typically what I've noticed, and obviously what plenty of other people have noticed, that's why it's a thing, right? Bear and bull flags. If we have something like that and we break below the low of these wicks, we like to run the rest of the wicks and possibly break out even farther. I do prefer it to kind of come up and touch these EMAs, right? Just so we can get a little bit cleaner of a pullback. Sometimes if you have a bear flag down here and it's far away from the EMA, we'll kind of push down there a little bit, but it's a little overextended, right? And kind of like our example earlier, you don't want to sell when you're overextended, and you might time the bottom. Glitch, thank you for the roses. Yeah, it looks like now we're touching that 9 EMA, and we are holding it just a little bit. So again, this is where I'd look to see how we react here. If we continue lower, depending on how this candle closes, right? This could definitely be a bear flag once we take out some of the lows here. Whether it's like right here.
Order submitted.
Right, I'd kind of look to sell once we break below the 739s. And then after this candle closes, I might be looking to kind of sell below the low of that candle as well. And this could definitely be something. if we're going to continue lower, which is kind of what we're hoping for, and that's kind of what it's looking like it wants to do. It's kind of hard to imagine we just go higher now, but sometimes it does that. So let's see kind of how this plays out. Hopefully we get some better price action today. But yeah, if we break below the 746s now, I think I'll be going short. Should be pretty good here.
Order filled.
Kind of leave our stop here at the high, kind of go for a 1-to-1. That's what I typically like to go for. Nothing fancy. But you see, that's the break, right? We still haven't hit our target, but that's kind of the move and the break that you like to see. You kind of break through, take out those wicks, and usually it is pretty quick. But this is where it gets a little tricky because we're kind of holding here and we're already back at my entry. On some days, I probably would have gone break even. I kind of might just to play it safe. But it looks like it might still go down. Maybe not. So I'm gonna go break even just to play it safe. But yeah, we got a nice push there, and that's kind of the move that we're looking for. A little unfortunate that we didn't get all the way to our target, but we still might. Still not out of it yet. Might even just move our stop down just above the high of that candle. Looks like we might get down there.
Target filled.
There we go, target filled. Oh, a little more of a slap too. See, a little scary there. Almost got break even. Yeah, W's in the chat. KWs, you got a trade too. Nice. Yeah, that was a good bear flag. I mean, textbook right there. Bounced out the EMAs. Right, took out the low of this candle. Again, might almost got stopped out break even there, but then we finally got that push for nice 12.5 points, $245 with one contract. So yeah, very good trade. That's what we like to see. Maybe should have gone in with more contracts there. Just kidding. On these 50K accounts, I like to kind of stick to one contract. Unless it's like really low volatility. What time frame are you using? I'm using the 1 minute right here. Should be able to see it kind of up here in the corner. It's not the easiest to see, but yeah, 1 minute. Tested that 2 minute fair value gap and went lower, so I had shorts with 2 contracts. Nice. Oh yeah, we had a nice bounce off of that 2 minute fair value gap. Oh no, Carlos, you're chilling. I'm just pointing it out for anyone else watching that's curious, or if I do change it, you can also see, like if I change it to like the 2 minute, then you can just see it up there. Carlos, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, just there in case you're curious. Yeah, great trade there. Kind of pulling back up now. Kind of caught the move, but now we're taking out the highs on the 1 minute. So this could also be a bit of a reversal setup. Gonna be done for the day. Bruh, good luck. Thank you, appreciate it. Good trading. It sounds like you had. I'd like to see it. Again, always good to know when to call it a day. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, this price action is definitely looking reversal-ish here. But Delta's a little weak. Buyers not that strong. Again, I was kind of talking about that earlier. You see price took out the high on the 1 minute, but buyers are still down here on volume. So buyers are kind of weak, which again sometimes it could mean different things, right? It could mean despite the weak buyers, we're still going up, which could be definitely be a good thing for the buyers. But also it could mean that like the buyers aren't there, so this move is going to be pretty short-lived, right? We're not actually going to push too much higher for very long. And that's kind of usually how I kind of look at it. If buyers are kind of weak on delta, I'm a little hesitant to believe that price is going to continue higher. But it doesn't mean it won't, right? Buyers could definitely start to add up here on delta. They start to take out those highs as well. Yeah, I kind of have another, this is where it gets a little tricky. We have another kind of bear flag here. The only problem is we did take out the high on the 1 minute. So because of this kind of change in structure just a little bit, I probably wouldn't take this, right? If we take out the low of this candle, not necessarily going to go short just because we are kind of changing the trend here a little bit. Not actually, right? The trend doesn't get changed with one higher high, but it is still a reason we might avoid going short, personally. Looks like we're going for the highs again here. And we do have some fair value gaps on the 5 minute finally. You can see, oh, this one's kind of big. So we'll see how we react off of this on the 5 minutes, see if we can continue lower. Typically, I would almost look for, again, that sweep down here of the lows, and then if we closed above this on the 5 minute, kind of call it like inverse fair value gap, we could definitely be that good reversal to go higher. Kind of close above it somewhere, bounce into it, and then bounce out of it. But this fair value gap's a little bit big. I mean, if we close up there, this is like 80 points from the lows. It's a bit heavy. We need something a little smaller, a little bit lower to take that trade. But yeah, I won't be surprised if we kind of hold this gap and keep going lower. But we are taking the highs on the 1 minute, both on ES and NASDAQ. So kind of hard to go short. But the higher time frames are still very bearish for now. So we could be kind of taking out those lows now, though. Yeah, kind of breaking through. Not a bad trade. Get in right here. Stop up here and target somewhere down here. Kind of, again, I go for those 1-to-1 trades. It's just easier for me. Sometimes I get impatient waiting for the 2R or the 3R. And it's a lot easier to get stopped out of break even or potentially lose a trade when you're being a little greedier and going for more money. Obviously, when you do win, you make more money, but I kind of like having a higher win rate versus the other option. So yeah, let's see if we hold this and keep pushing higher, or maybe go lower. We're kind of just chopping around here at the lows. But kind of nice you're able to catch that bear flag there. Both ES and NASDAQ both kind of pushing up a little bit. But on the higher time frames, we are kind of bear flagging still. If we look at the 3 minutes. Look at the 3 minute here. We aren't really taking out any 3 minute highs here besides these wicks. And if we were to kind of hold the EMA here and get below here, this could be a 3 minute bear flag. I do typically stay on the 1 minute, but this definitely could be a good trade, even if we don't take it. Keep our eye on it, and it could just be an indication of what price does. But the buyers are really pumping it now. So Delta finally breaking some of the highs, not all of them though. Buyers looking a little bit better here. Might have an inverse fair value gap on the 3 minute as well. Could be tempting to take, especially since the 5 minute's not going to get anything anytime soon. Could get that reversal. Definitely a little tempting. Buyer's still a little weak, but we are starting to take out those highs on Delta. Alright, good strong close there. Kind of tempted to put this
Order
71.
submitted.
This is the top of the 3 minute inverse fair value gap. Still not sure if I want to take it because I'm trying to be consistent here with my strategy and kind of only trade the 5 minute on this funding ticks account. Obviously I got another account over here that I'm trading the scalps on the 1 minute. But yeah, I like the reversals over here. It is a 3 minute though, so it's not in line with my typical 5 minute reversal. But it could be kind of nice still. Buyers are looking pretty good now. That is if we even pull back into our entry. The buyers are kind of just pushing higher here. I got about 5 minutes till the 5 minute count closes. Looks like we might close above the gap on the 5 minute. Which would definitely be a good sign for the bulls. Continue higher. And typically that would be a trade I might take, but just a little bit big of a gap, right? From the lows all the way to the top of it, it's kind of a big move. And for me to put on that much risk.
Order canceled.
Right, like if I have my entry right there, my stop is going to be somewhere down here. And I have to target like the highs up here maybe. Something like that. Let me see what that is on my, can measure it better on TradingView. So it's 74 points stop loss. 73. So yeah, it looks like it'd be, the target would be about there, the 73 for that 1-to-1. So yeah, I'm risking 74 points. So if I want to make as much money as I'm risking, I'd have to risk 74 points, which is $1,400, almost $1,500. And then I'd have to make that much too to kind of make it worth it for me. I know some people trade differently and everything. I know some people, right, they have a small stop loss and they might even target all the way up here. Or some people are the opposite, right? They kind of have a big stop loss and they just go for like a little trade like that. If that makes any sense with these lines that I've drawn. But no, typically I do like to look for just the one-to-one. Makes the most sense to me. Right, if I'm going to risk $1,400, I want to make at least $1,400. Which makes this trade a little tough because risking $1,400 is a lot of risk and I don't really want to take. First of all. And second of all, I just don't need to make that much money. Right? I don't need $1,400 in profit. Because the way these accounts work, the prop firm accounts with funny ticks, they have a 50% consistency rule. So on these 50K accounts, my goal to get a payout is $2,000, I believe, in profit. And then I can take a payout. Or that might be like the minimum amount I have to make to... Anyways. But 50% of that is $1,000. And I'm not allowed to make more than 50% of my account balance in one day. So I can't make more than $1,000 in a day on these accounts. So if I'm risking more than $1,000, it's kind of a trade I don't really want to take. Or I might size down onto the micros because those are smaller. And that could be something I think about doing. The only problem with micros is the fees are higher, which is a little annoying. So we'll see what I think about doing. It might be a spur of the moment decision. But it looks like we're kind of rejecting the high of that fair value gap though. 40 seconds, see if we close above it, but I don't think we will. Still kind of pulling back a little bit on the 1 minute as well. If we get back to the EMA, we could be looking for a bull flag. Now that we've gone like this bullish push up, could be looking for a bull flag here instead of a bear flag. But again, I want to see it get back to the EMA there. Blue line. Not a big fan of taking the flags when they're far away from it. Oh, that was a push. I looked away for like 1 second too. That was crazy. I don't think there's news, but I guess it's top of the hour. Sometimes that affects the market. But we really shot up there. I mean, that's the bull flag right there. Get in right there, and then boom, push up, take out all the highs. A little too quick there for me to get in, unfortunately. Also, we didn't test the EMA either, so not my perfect entry either. But again, that's kind of the setup. Besides not hitting the EMA and the fact that it teleported and didn't give me a chance to get in. Yeah, good little push up. Kind of coming back down though. We'll see what happens from here on out. Looks like we could be pulling back to that 3-minute inverse gap we talked about earlier. could be kind of tempting. I don't know though. We are about there at the 71s. Question is, do I stick to my rules? Right, only trade the 5-minute price action. I think that's what I should do, just so I'm consistent. Because if I take this 3-minute trade, the problem is it might win, which is great. If it won, that'd be perfect. And it still might. I mean, we're already bouncing up pretty nicely here. The only problem though is if it were to lose, which does happen, even on good trades, on good setups, sometimes you just lose. And that's just how it goes. But if we lose it, it kind of forces us a little bit to keep taking 3 minutes every time. Just because that's the only way you'll kind of make back the money that you lost from the 3-minute trade. Maybe that's not the best way to look at it, but that's kind of how I look at it. Yeah, looks like we had a little bounce there, but now we're kind of back down to the 770s, pushing lower a little bit, which means we could kind of push through and go towards those lows a little bit. Kind of losing support here. Below the EMAs. Could be going lower. Unless we hold that 3-minute gap. Inverse gap. Probably going to hold off on that 3-minute trade. Kind of struggling to bounce there anyways. Doesn't mean it won't. I still feel a little bullish here. Kind of hold this 1-minute gap maybe. Push through those EMAs. Not really sure what it's going to do though. Could just be another higher low here. Continue this bullish trend. Price kind of just going nowhere. It's trying to make me yawn. Getting all tired. Kind of came down here and the last 4 candles have been going nowhere. Even if that 3-minute trade does work, I'm not a fan of being in trades when it just chops around like this. Definitely easy to make some bad decisions when price is going nowhere. Very easy to lose confidence in a good trade. Because again, now the price is going down, but it doesn't mean that's a bad trade. Right, that's why we have our stop loss at the lows, is to kind of cover for a little bit of this, right? But doesn't mean it's a bad trade. Does not mean it's a bad trade. But when you see stuff like this, or whether it chops around, doesn't move anywhere for like 5-10 minutes, it's very easy to think, well, my trade is not good. Start to question the trade. Oh, sorry, yawning a lot right now. I might have to play a little Fortnite or something. If it's updated, I might have forgotten to update it again. That's okay though. Markets aren't that boring right now, but they're definitely could be more exciting. I've only taken one trade in the last hour and a half since market open, so definitely a little boring. Yeah, Fortnite's still updating. We're at like 50%. I started the update yesterday, but then I paused it because I was like done trading and had to go do some other stuff. And I forgot to unpause it to have it finish. Not sure if any of you in the chat are here for that. I don't know if you guys have seen my shorts or my TikToks where I play some games and trade at the same time. If you're just here for the trading, that's chill. That's kind of my main thing, especially market open. And, you know, first couple hours of the morning. But if we do chop around a little bit, I will try and play some games sometimes too, just for a little entertainment, but also to kind of help me a little bit too, just so I don't force any bad trades or get impatient during the chop. Because the chop can be brutal. Like, it definitely is easy for a lot of people earlier in the day to try and take some of these trades, try and make some money. And would have been pretty easy for some of those people to lose money. Buyers holding up here a little bit, back up to the EMAs. Yeah, sometimes kind of nice to take a little mental break, play some games, wait for price to give you a good setup. We're pushing above those EMAs now. Looks like the buyers holding up here. Kind of what we thought might happen. Make this lower, or higher low, I should say. We are kind of holding that 3-minute inverse pretty alright. Could still play out. Might not though. Could be a lower high here. And it could be as well kind of a higher time frame bear flag. I mean, not very pretty, but yeah, if it changes like the 5, no, not 5, like 10-minute chart. Yeah, 10 minutes. See if we can do it on here. Yeah, 10-minute. Yeah, this 10-minute chart looking like a pretty solid flag if we get below the low of this wick here. I don't trade the 10-minute, but I mean, yeah, we bounced off those EMAs. We've got these higher low wicks. See if we break below the 750s. 10-minute short could be playing. It's kind of a big one though. If you got in here, your stop would be like 50 points. It's like $1,000. Alright, still kind of just going over. Let's switch back to the 1 minute just so we can actually see what's going on. Not that there is much going on. But yeah, 10 minute, kind of hard to see what's going on. Okay, bouncing, taking out the highs. Kind of made a lower high there, but we just broke it. So the buyers are coming back. They're holding. See if we can get back up there to the highs and continue this bullish trend here. Try and look for another setup potentially. Might be kind of done with the setups today though. We'll see. Slowly making our way higher. Slowly but surely. See the ATR is dropping off a little bit here. Down to a 12. Still above a 10, which is what I consider tradable for the most part. But yeah, definitely a little bit better when it's above a 15, kind of like we had up in here earlier before we made some trades. Or just the one trade, I guess. But we are dipping down here a little bit. Kind of slowing down. 9:14. We're getting close to that 9:30, 10 o'clock. And it's market starts to slow down just a little bit. So yeah, sometimes I like to be done around 9:30. Depending on how price is moving. But I might stick around till 10 just to keep an eye on it. Fortnite is updated, so we'll open her up. We'll play maybe just like one game or two till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Keep our eyes on the chart though, don't want to miss that. Keep our priorities in check. Alright, pushing the highs again here. Kind of stair-stepping our way up. Making our way back up to the overnight low. Which is kind of where we stopped out before here. With this bull flag. Could be why we kind of shot up and then rejected back down. So we're getting back up there now. Buyers, like I said, making the way up. Kind of a couple different bull flags that are playing out. I mean, right here and right here. Got two of them. Bounce out the EMA, push through. You can see that's like the setup we look for. The reason I didn't take them, again, just be transparent, right? Tell you what I'm looking for and what I'm seeing. Because we're down here, right? Because we're not at the highs, it's still a little uncertain what the trend is. I mean, we are in a bullish trend still, but the fact that we kind of rejected here until we kind of break past and continue the trend, I'm not the biggest fan of the flags, personally. Doesn't mean I won't take them, though. Sometimes. Sometimes you gotta go off the gut feeling, right? But at the same time, you don't want to gamble. Don't want to play with emotions. Yeah, it could be forming another one now. Kind of continue this little pattern here, right? We go up, pull back, up, pull back, up, pull back. Let's see how long we keep this up. Played some Battlefield 1 yesterday, so I had to switch over. There we go. Make sure that's ready to go. Still pushing higher. Didn't quite get a gap, or not gap. Not quite a flag there. Just kind of like a little bit, right? But the fact that the second candle took the high of the first candle, it's not typically the cleanest setup. Right? We like to see lower high, kind of stair step down and then break through. So yeah, not as clean and not playing out as cleanly either. But yeah, slowly making our way up. Hopefully we can get some more trades here before the end of the stream. Before the day is done. I have a couple accounts. I mean, we got 3 we're trying to make some money on. I want to take another trade on this account so I can get up to like $400 or $500 in profit potentially. Then I have another account I want to take some trades on. And then the other one, probably not going to be able to, unfortunately, just with the price action right now, the 5-minute, not going to get any trades, which is fine, but a little unfortunate, of course. But if you trade propfirms and want to check out funny ticks, they got 20% off right now. Not their best deals. I will be honest, they do have 35% off sometimes. So might want to wait for the 35% off, but 20% off, still pretty good deal. Check it out if you want. Use my code, support me. Would appreciate it, but no pressure. So we are getting in the game here. See how we do. First one on. Haven't played Fortnite since Friday. Also, hopefully the volume's not too loud either. It shouldn't be. It should be about the same as normal. Alright, let's see. We got someone over this way. I thought the guy was decent, but then he kind of just walked around like he didn't know what he was doing. A little awkward there. Alright, no one too good yet. See if we get that fancy medallion. Played with it a couple times, but the One Punch Man medallion. Yep, it is. Oh. See if we can punch him. Why can't I hit him? Look, my pickaxe is like swinging slow. Maybe not. Might be going crazy. Let's punch some people. Oh, that was close. All right. Those guys, I don't think they're the best, but do a little punch, a little one punch. All right, 11 kills. Not too shabby. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Oh no, I messed. This guy might be good. Alright, we still got him. His buddy though is gonna be upset. A little unlucky there. What do I want? I guess this is another one-shot weapon. So you can do a little 360. Nah, that didn't work. Alright, good first game. These games are quick too. 14 kills. What was that, like 3-minute game? Or less? Market's still going nowhere. Kind of pulling back a little bit. Kind of round it off there at the top for a potentially lower high. Still kind of holding the EMAs though, so we could bounce higher. Not looking too bad for the bulls, but it's not looking the best either. Could be pushing the high there. We'll see. Like I said, if we break this high on the right there, these two wicks, probably start looking for some more trades. Hypothetically speaking. We might before that, but at the same time, kind of hard to be super confident in any trades while we're in that range. Or I guess this range. Oh, I feel so slow without that medallion. So slow. Someone else might be getting that medallion too. Oh yeah. Can't let them punch me. Or I can just do that. Looks like they did not drop the medallion, but I don't know if that means... I'm not sure if that means if you got it or not. I'm not sure. Because if it's like the other medallions that you get from like the supply drops and stuff, usually you don't drop them when you get killed. Market's still not going anywhere. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, I guess we'll keep playing. Get the supply drop for now. Yeah, it's kind of broke up to the highs. Nasdaq's still not close to the highs. So, still waiting for Nasdaq to get out of this little range here. Oh, speak of the devil. Here's the Megalodon medallion. Now I can run speedy fast again. Oh, I got the goldfish. Now this, I want to get a clip one of these days. Kind of hard to do. But I want to chuck this sucker across the map and get a kill. Not sure if I like that shotgun. I'm gonna keep this one. Yeah, like there's some shooting that way. So like, what are the chances I just throw this and get a kill? You know? For the clip. I'm gonna go get it again. Oh, I threw that far. This girl's got quite the arm. Oh, that was close. This pistol's too good. Too freaking good. Alright, I got some third party. This movement's a little unfair though. There's not much you can do. One guy left. This zone makes it a little tough. Regardless of skill, there's not a lot of places to run. But that wasn't too hard. Our medallion made it too easy. Not to mention that pistol. Nasdaq still going nowhere. Again, kind of to be expected around 9:30, 10:30ish. Again, some days it does like to pick up the pace. Sometimes it still does move a bit around 10:30. And it can still pick back up here in the next 30 minutes and do something. And that's why I'm still kind of watching it just in case. But it does tend to get a little bit boring, which is why I'll play some games from kind of around 9 to 10 o'clock, sometimes 8:30. But looks like the sellers are taking out the low here in the 1 minute. So kind of some bearish price action of sorts. We're still kind of in this range of like the blue line I drew up there and then this one as well. Kind of sitting in the middle here. I mean, yeah, we dipped down. We already pushed back up into the EMAs. Could be taking out the highs now. So can't quite be super bearish, but I'm not quite wanting to take any longs right now either. I don't know if I've had this medallion before in the blitz mode. Spring leg medallion grants a mid-air leap. Oh, I can do a double jump. That's kind of sick. Oh, we just wasted this. Not wasted. Just used it quite effectively. Oh no, I said I don't like this, but I guess I'll try it. We'll assume it's good. Gotta remember to use my double jump. Like that. I think it takes away fall damage too. Oh, we got some shooting. This is kind of fun. 110. I'm not sure what these guys are doing, honestly. They've got to be bots. Movement's not bad, though. Nice. Oh, I think this thing's pretty OP. Oh, there's guys behind me. Like, I need to not die, though. Oh, we got two of them. Gotta reload my guns. Oh! He has a medallion. He just punched me once. Oh, well, there goes my streak. Looks like sellers. Pushing down now, too. Alright, let's run it back. See if the sellers hold this or not. We've been kind of faking out the lows here a little bit. Right here we kind of took out the lows, pushed back up. But then we took out the lows again here, pushed back up. Again at the lows. And we did close down here. So let's see if we hold it or not this time. And as I say that, here comes the big green candle. You love to see it. Alright, we gotta get that medallion this time. Or at least make sure no one else gets it. Not sure where all the chests are here. There we go. A lot of chopping though today. It's nice really catch that one trade though. I should not be pushing this. Oh no. I can't run through that? Oh, he got the medallion. Yeah, everyone's getting the medallion. It's the only reason I'm dying. That's why I need to get that medallion. I can't let these guys get it. Gosh dang. I didn't even think he was going for the punch either. I didn't think they had the flag yet. Super embarrassing. Alright, it won't happen again, chat. Won't happen again. Dang, this price action though. That big green candle, and then a big red candle to eat it up. Basically just going nowhere. Yeah, these conditions are kind of untradeable in my opinion. If you're able to trade them, make some money. Good for you. But kind of just chopping around. Alright, we got the double jump again. Need to remember to use that when I'm fighting. Need to get some better loot this time. Find a shotgun. A little earlier on. SMG will help. Shotgun. Alright, we're gonna lock in. Be aggressive. Did not pick that up. Not too aggressive. Now these guys might just be bots. Market's still going nowhere. I guess we could get the medallion, just so no one else does. Oh, storm's like right here though. Yikes. Is it worth it? I don't know. No, I don't want any of those. Guess I'll drink this though. Oh, this will come in handy. I want to punch him, but it's kind of hard to without the movement medallion. And it's like starting to take out the lows there. I'm also being pretty reckless again, not gonna lie. Feel like no health. I forgot I can double jump. What am I doing? Because this guy doesn't know how to play the game. No heals. Alright, the bear's looking kind of nice right now. Looking kind of good. Now I can jump even extra because of the Zeus medallion. You get some crazy combos with some of these medallions. This guy's just running away. He might kill me too. I'm kind of underestimating him here. Oh. Aim was a little embarrassing. Kind of went easy on him, but not sure why. "15 kills that time though. Yeah, that game almost felt too easy. It's weird, we either have like a team that's like pretty good, gets a medallion, or we just got like a bunch of bots. Alright, we're gonna win this one, chat. We're gonna get another crown win. I'm gonna wait for this guy to get distracted. I might just throw down his bubbles though. Need to reload my gun. Ooh. Put my eye on the charts a little bit too. Probably should pop this big pot. Kind of boring though. Oh, it could be looking alright for some. How many of these geckos are there? I feel like I've killed like 4 of them. Am I crazy? Oh, we got 2 more right here. Oh, these guys might have the medallion too. I don't know if I want that shotgun actually. I do want that one though. Like I should not have pushed me like that. Not sure why my screen is still frosted either. I shot that shotgun a while ago and now we're still frosty. Almost died of that guy. Kinda underestimated him at the end there. Thought I had him for sure. Alright, let's get this cross map. Goldfish. Oh, that was close. That was so close. Alright. Yeah, still kinda chopping. We were making way lower, but we kinda bounced back up a little bit and still trying to decide if we want to go higher or lower. That might have been a good game to end on. What was that, like 15 kills again? Pretty solid in blitz mode. But thanks for hanging out, checking out the stream. If you're not already subscribed, feel free to subscribe and like the stream. Follow for more, right? I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. 9:30 a.m. Eastern for market open. Making some more trades. And hopefully make some more money. Not a bad day today. Made 239 on one of my accounts. Textbook. Berry flag. But since then we've kind of been struggling to make anything that looks good. Kind of making some moves here now, right? High here, higher low, breaking the high. But still kind of just chopping. ATR's gone pretty low, below a 10 now. It's about that lunchtime hour, 10 o'clock. So yeah, we're probably going to call it a day. But thanks for watching. Be back tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See ya.